this day and for bringing all of us here safely tonight. If it is your will, we ask that you show us the way and guide us in making the decisions for the betterment of our village. In closing, dear Lord, we thank you for another day of life, all the creations you have placed here for us to enjoy, and especially our American flag rolling in a blaze to remind us of our freedom. In God's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, I'd like to deviate from our normal agenda and have the swearing in of Randy, our new councilman here. So if you want to stand up and hold your right hand. Repeat after me if you would, please. I, Randy P. Wisner,
I, Randy P. Wisner,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, obey, and uphold
I will support, obey, and uphold
the Constitution and laws of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the state of West Virginia,
the Constitution and laws of the state of West Virginia,
and the laws, ordinance, rules, and regulations,
and the laws, ordinances, rules, and regulations,
and policies of the village of Bethlehem, West Virginia,
of the village of Bethlehem of West Virginia,
and that I will perform faithfully,
and I will perform faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially the duties of
and impartially the duties of
Councilman 7th Ward
Councilman 7th Ward
of the village of Bethlehem, West Virginia,
of the village of Bethlehem, West Virginia,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thanks, gentlemen.
When you get a chance, you just want to just sign right there.
Sure. Can we add anything to that?
Okay, next, Matt, how about calling the roll, please?
Sure thing, Mayor. Councilman Otten.
Here.
Councilman Bishop.
Here.
Councilman Herschuk.
Here.
Councilman Henry.
Here.
Mayor Junkins.
Here.
Councilman Sassine.
Here.
Recorder Sassine. Here. Councilman Snyder.
Here.
Councilman Wisner.
Here.
Okay, all present and accounted for, sir. Okay, next we have our minutes of our June 7th, 2021 meeting. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, is there any question on the motion? If there be no question on the motion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Back to you, Matt.
Just two things tonight, Mayor. The next council meeting will be held on Tuesday, July 6th, 2021 at 8 p.m. And my last thing is, if you are attending tonight's meeting as a guest, if you could please sign in, print your first, last name, and your address. That's all I have tonight, Mayor.
Yeah, one of the things he's mentioned, our next council meeting, I checked with the state, wasn't positive, but I am sure now, that when a holiday falls on Sunday, you postpone that, the next day is a holiday. This is West Virginia. So we got another holiday coming up. We had a 4-day weekend this last time, and now between the next meeting we'll have a 3-day weekend. But it seems like all the holidays are falling on Sunday here for a change. Probably won't happen again until another 10 years or so. Okay, Jamie, do you have anything to report financially?
No, just the financial statements.
Okay, if you'll notice, TC is on vacation this week. I thought he'd either have one of his partners, John or Jim, here, but evidently they're not. I think we we get along without him tonight, I hope, anyway. Okay, move into the mayor's report then. First thing I want to mention, Walnut Avenue Storm Sewer Replacement Line Project. Some of you probably don't know what this is about, but this project was first reviewed and notified in October 2019. Our crew did some cosmetic work. We started to notify neighbors for property access. We had our engineer look at the site several times to advise what needed and how and what. Our crew cleaned out the adjacent catch basins and pulled out some old metal culvert pipe. Then the weather changed. With rain and snow, and the working area of the ground became very soft and difficult to work. We only have a rubber-tired backhoe to work with and have been waiting for the ground to harden. We only have a rubber-tired backhoe. With all the other village infrastructure projects that needed to be addressed, too many at the same time, our crew was only able to do the worst first, then get back to others. Because of all the delays, it was the consensus to hire HB Excavating, Kenny Wharton and his crew, who has the proper equipment, the track hoe and the rest of the equipment that can move on this steep terrain, and our rubber versus our rubber-tired backhoe. It's the difference of night and day. The terrain over there is horrific, and we did struggle along when we first started out. Work will be resuming. We've been back and forth, and we'd work on it a little bit and then get pulled off when having to address other projects. I'm very sorry for all the delays, but I wanted the job done properly and safely. In the month of June at Bob Playground, Fall Field, and because it's baseball tournament time and there's always parking problems every year at this time, this year is no exception. Some individuals have no respect for others' property, and they try to park where they want. When they are told they're going to have to move their vehicles, they become belligerent, nasty, and start cursing even at the police officers, but they eventually move their vehicles. One incident that happened at Posh Hair Saloon up there, that's Mike Price's, and it's the old Jay's Pharmacy there, where they have a nice parking lot with no parking signs, painted lines, landscape with shrubbery. A disgruntled and disrespected male opened the entrance door and yelled in at Mike's Price's wife, who managed the business, some disrespectful curse words, which was completely out of order. Unfortunately, our police officer was not there at the present time to address that matter. We also find out that most of these unhappy individuals are not Bethlehem residents. Recently, in the same area, after one of the ball games, our police officer reported to me that a no parking sign had been damaged or just aged by the weather. I asked our street crew if they get a replacement, but the same day of Friday, just before the crew was getting ready to leave for the day, a suitable replacement was found in stock. Two members jumped up from the table. They were getting ready to leave, but they made the correction at that time. It was a Friday afternoon, and the World Series was scheduled to resume that night. Good timing, and I thanked our guys for a quick turnaround. This is what the sign looked like. It was either weather beaten or someone pulled off the P for no parking there. So anyway, move on to the next item here. The village's summer 2021 rotating bids were received and opened at bid opening Wednesday, June 9, 2021. Results were received, reviewed, and checked for correctness, then consolidated with the specifications and hand-delivered to our engineer for review. Jack Tusk currently is on vacation, so I won't be getting his approval until late this week or next. I'll be submitting this project to council next council meeting for approval. Everyone should have received the spreadsheet today. And incidentally, Matt helped me when we put this together, so everybody has a copy of this, so you know what actually the bids seem to come in under what we thought it would be, but you can see the spread. The lowest is 137 and the highest is 296. Now there's some politics there, and I don't think the vendor that quoted the 296, they must have a full schedule or something, and they weren't interested in doing their work, so they just throw in figures and let them fly where they will. Okay. We move into other officers' reports. The solicitor's not here, so, and the police chief, you'll get that next month, so there's those two reports. What I want to move into next would be the committee reports. First, Parks and Recreation. Aaron, you have something to report to us?
Yeah, I have a couple things. Last meeting I didn't have all of the numbers written up yet. We didn't have everything confirmed. We brought in, it's the wrong paper. We brought in a total that night, total income, $12,115. We had $4,580.15 in expenses. Our total, what we brought in, total profit was $7,535. That was the,
It's one of the best.
that was the greatest steak fry we've had. I believe we, in attendance, we pre-sold tickets. Pre-sale tickets were greater than any amount of attendance we've had in the past. That's not even counting the tickets sold that night. So it was a great night. The next thing is July 4th. The main thing I have for that is the 50-50. Right now, we are at a $900 take-home. That's, I believe, the third biggest so far, and tickets, of course, go up until that night. We have everything scheduled and ready to go. Everything's confirmed. So other than that, those are the only reports I have. We're just getting ready for the 4th, making sure everything's ready to go. I know the guys, the street crew was out. They painted all the lamp posts, all the flag poles, so everything's getting ready. We have an electrician coming tomorrow to look at the lamp posts in the putt-putt golf course to try and get those up and running before the 4th.
Will we have food trucks again this year?
Yeah,
On the second?
so currently we have 2 food trucks. I'm not sure exactly what they are. I don't think we have like a food truck. I think we have like the funnel cake, the snow cone, stuff like that. I think there might be like hot dogs or something like
Okay.
that. But I know we have 2 food trucks, and I think that's all. We
How
were
about
trying to find someone else,
How
but
about
I
the
don't
music?
think we
Did she
will.
tell you who?
Yeah, we have. No, she didn't write his name. It's the guy who usually does
Trey.
our- Trey, yeah.
Trey?
Dunleavy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Trey Dunleavy. He's
Okay.
confirmed for the.
Okay.
How about inflatables? Are we gonna have inflatables this year?
Yes,
Okay.
inflatables are confirmed.
That's
They're
awesome.
ready to go.
That's such a great day.
I made a post on Facebook. I don't know if the village Facebook page can share that post to the official page, but if we could get that shared and the word out, I gave a brief rundown of everything on that post. That's all I have tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, next is the police committee. Bobby, anything
I got a couple of things, but I'm gonna bring them up under streets.
under new business? Yeah, that's because I just want that. Okay, roads, streets, and lanes. Tommy and Steve, anything to report there?
Just anxiously awaiting them roads to get paved.
We'll just have to wait till next meeting. I don't think there was anything wrong with the specs. Of course, I didn't look at them that closely, but that's all we had the engineer to do. He wrote the specs, and he can compare the specs to the quotations, make sure everything's covered.
Dawn, I do have something under roads, streets and roads.
Please,
I had
okay.
2 complaints, and I guess Councilman Snyder did as well, with the speeding with the people doing work at the Raymore property. They're not obeying the 25 speed limit, and the sign at the beginning of the lane is looking a little rough. And also, it's my understanding they're gonna be building 4 houses. I don't know this, I'm getting it from the neighborhood, I'm not getting it myself personally. And can the road handle all that extra heavy weight? I'm sure they gotta get bonded before they can use it.
Why, is there some heavy equipment going in there right now? Is it?
Well,
Well, I know-
I don't know, I'm just getting it from the neighbors, I
Yeah.
personally didn't see any.
From what I've heard, they're reporting big trucks going through carrying material.
Let's discuss this under old,
yeah.
or new business then.
Okay.
Okay. Water and sewer.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Jamie graciously sent me the contact information for 4 officials with the state of West Virginia. You guys will recall I had proposed the expenditure of the final $49,000 from the water fund because we hadn't received the CARES Act funding yet to complete the radio read project at our last meeting. reached out to all of those people at the state, none of whom got back to me. So we're kind of at an impasse there. We still don't have the CARES Act funding, correct? And the bid is good until the end of this month, correct?
July.
Yeah, it's the end of July or July 1?
July 30th is what.
July 30th.
Okay.
So we're quickly running out of time.
Yeah, I don't know what the big thing is, because I've talked to Jamie and now I've talked to you, and I knew that you were, making phone calls down
Right.
there, but I don't know if they're keeping their cards close to their vest. But you look at the city of Wheeling, in Ohio County, the city of Wheeling, I think's got $11 million so far from that, and I don't know what the county has, but, why are they stiff-arming the small guys?
Oh, I don't
I don't know, it's frustrating.
I will renew my call to go ahead and order the equipment needed to finish the project at $49,058.33. I'll bring that up
Okay,
again under new business.
if you want.
But I
I have your,
strongly encourage council let's just get it done, because I'm afraid if we drag our feet much longer and they tell us no and then it's too late, it's going to end up costing us more than.
yeah, well, I've got what you gave me last
Yeah.
time, so we'll wonder that.
Thank you.
Okay, zoning, anything, Mark?
I have not heard of that,
Okay.
sir.
Ben,
Well, I was
you wanna come forward so we can hear you?
What I was going to add on to what you were saying about just going and pulling the trigger on the rest of the meters is we're not running out of ways that we could spend that money, even if you are put in this box. And you say, like, there's been talks of fixing parts of Ridgecrest water line, which is something that should have been done a long time ago. That ductile iron is literally falling apart. I mean, it's a project that is going to cost a lot of money, and fortunately, it's about to land in your lap. So you don't want to run out on this timeline that they're giving you, because Badger is increasing the costs of everything. The pipe, parts, everything that Badger makes, everything the National Road sells, it's all gone up substantially since the last time we've gotten any sort of quote from them. So I'm not going to say it's going to be, I can't tell you what it would be for the rest of what we need, but I can tell you what it is right now. And that's what's sitting in front of Tim. So it's something I would strongly consider when you guys bring that up again here later on this evening. Because you are in fact running out of time with it.
Okay, we finished committee reports. How about, is there anything to come up under old business right now? If there's not anything under old business, I'd like to go into new business, and I'd like to get through the routine things first, and then we can address the things that we want to bring up. One of the first things is our bills, our list of bills for June 2021. I would entertain a motion to approve the June 2021 list of bills for payment.
So moved. Second.
Okay, a motion has been made. Is there any question on the motion? If there be no question on the motion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Next, we have Jamie's monthly financial statement, May 31, 2021. I would entertain a motion to approve the financial statement as presented and file for audit.
So moved.
Second.
Do I have a second? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Can I ask a couple questions of Jamie
Yeah.
on the budget?
Okay, now that we have the
That's-
motion,
yeah.
now it's time for questions.
Jamie, two quick questions on receipts. Are we on pace to hit the 141 in local utility taxes? I noticed we're 22,488 off. Do we usually get that in a month? I mean, the previous month we only got 7,000. Are we going to come in under on tax revenue?
I'm trying to think if that's one of the ones I even made an amendment to, and I can't remember. It wouldn't always be that high though, because you would have, quarterly you have AEP coming in, so you're probably seeing that in there.
Okay.
You're probably seeing that, because I don't think it came through at the end of April. I think it ended up coming through at the beginning of May. So no, you wouldn't see that always that high.
Okay. And then on the expenditures, under street department, is it correct that it's showing a $57,000 loss for the year? We're over budget 57,000 in that department for the year?
I didn't put my statement, so let me go look. I forgot them when I walked out today. On the street, which part?
On expenditures,
Yeah,
Am I reading that right?
you're looking at a different bottom line there, that includes public.
Oh yeah, that's
transportation.
that's everything.
Yeah.
That's the entire net loss for the whole year. So that's every single thing that we have paid out. That's everything we've brought in, everything we've paid out.
so for the year, the village is over budget by $57,000. With 1 month left to go.
Oh wait, yeah, yes.
Yes,
At
okay.
this point. But what is not factored in there is the increase, those provision that we approved at the last meeting, because the state hasn't approved that. And I can't remember what the net of that was, but that did increase the bottom line.
That's all. I just saw that. I see parentheses, I get worried. That's all.
Yes, yeah, you are correct, yeah.
Okay.
Did you look at it?
Thank you, Jamie. Sorry.
Okay, is there any other questions?
Sorry. Thank you.
Are there any other questions on the financial statement? Okay, if there not be, then all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, let's go in now. The next thing is to talk about the water meter project.
What are your
Yeah.
thoughts, guys? I mean, we've talked, this is second meeting in a row now. We've talked about it. The expenditure is, what do I say, $49,058.33. I think currently, let me get to the water fund page.
Tim, can you repeat that number again?
Yeah,
49,000.
$49,058.33. Currently, I mean, it says we have 393,000 in the water fund, and that's a little misleading, because some of the money market that we don't want to touch is included in that number. So I'm gonna put it more at 195, but really a $49,000 hit isn't gonna crush that fund, especially when you think about the fact that if all things stand the way the government's telling us they're gonna stand, the CARES money is gonna be water, sewer, and broadband connectivity. But I don't think we're gonna go running a bunch of broadband lines. We're most likely gonna have to use it to replace water and sewer lines, and then pave the roads that we replace the lines on. If we get creative with the funding, you run a new line on Peach, and then you can pave that road because you've dug up the road to replace the line, and you can use CARES money for that. So the water fund's gonna become much, much larger once the CARES money comes in. I think we can afford the 49,058.
Well, the three roads we want to pave now, those are the ones where we dug up, put water
Right.
lines into.
Right.
That's why it's very frustrating to know. I mean, they got us out on the edge of the cliff.
Well,
Do it or not, but we want to move on. We got things to do,
yeah,
and I wish they'd give us some answers. One of the things I've been talking to Jamie about, like on this water meter replacement project, we probably got close to $500,000 in the thing. These are just pulling these figures out of what I know, but I don't know that for sure. However, what I'd like to do then is, spend the money, but I wanted to replace our water fund with whether they can or not. We're right in the middle of
I don't
things.
think we're gonna be able to do that.
Well,
I don't think the answer is gonna come back in our favor there.
Well, no, it's very frustrating.
Yeah,
you know,
and I
'cause-
think that based on the last thing that Jamie and I both read, it is for transmission only. So even using it once we get it for the water meters, I don't think that's going to be a legitimate expense either.
Well, you have to rob Peter to pay Paul or something, but it's so frustrating because there funds are, it's a one.
It's the great thing
Well,
about government money, Don, is,
Yep.
is they tell you how you have to spend it.
Yeah, but
If
what
you
they
want
tell
it,
us-
you've gotta play by their rules.
Yeah, I know.
But I'd love to hear council's thoughts on the expenditure. I mean, it'll finish the project.
Yeah, there's
And-
three invoices here that Tim gave me here. One for the meter, bunch of, for 271 meters, totals 42,553 round figures, 42,533. Then there's a certified training mobile for $4,900. Now the gals have been conferencing with these people, and I think one of the things that they'd really like to do is to have those people come here. I don't know if Ben, are you familiar with that? Are they going to send people here to?
That charge is for a guy named Vince Huck who works for National Road and is a representative of the Badger Company to come and directly walk everybody in this office and myself through the software and its union with their new billing software and how all that plays together and how we make it work all nice and pretty. That is what that $4,900 is.
Yeah.
It's a 2-day training that he comes into this office and does.
I don't know. I don't know how much they're absorbing here today. They were on the computer. They usually set it up in Aaron's desk here.
Well, they've been speaking with Muni Billing. That's who they're on their conference calls with. They're learning the new billing software. That's who they're speaking with.
I don't know how much they're benefiting from that, but I sort of got the impression that they'd like someone here on site so they could question and answer. I haven't gone through that. And then the third invoice here had some licensing for $1,624 roughly.
That
So-
is directly invoiced from Badger. That's not something National Road charges. That's something that Badger charges for us to use their service.
Right. Well, it says above the items shipped from the factory, module license, annual license, hosting, mobile hosting, so. But, yeah, they're anxious, the girls are anxious to get started on this, but they've been conferencing on over the computer, but I don't think they're that happy about it. They want to wait, get people here, you know, picture's worth 1,000 words, so.
You guys have any thoughts?
Well, to the money end, Jamie, how are we sitting? We spend the money, we're still fairly healthy there. We got a contingent fund for emergencies.
Absolutely, yes.
I mean, I don't see why we're not doing it.
What are the savings of doing it? So if we expedite it and get it done,
We were hoping it would fall under the CARES Act.
yeah, and you just use the money for that, right?
Right. Now, do we truly have to the end of July? If we do, we could approve it. I mean, if we have that long, we could wait, but we also want to make sure we have that long.
Well, okay, so, yeah, CARES money. You know, you read all the articles in the newspaper. It can be used for water and sewer and broadband internet access. But the contingency on the water and sewer is that it can be used for transmission. So lines, sewer lines, water lines, not for metering systems.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where Jamie and I reached out to the government officials, the Patsy Trekkost, is that how you say your name?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Department of Treasury, and then as well as the generic COVID-19 at West Virginia State Auditor's Office.gov. We reached out, both of us reached out to them, got no answers. But when they first gave us the handout, it says it includes improvements to infrastructure such as building and upgrading facilities and transmission, distribution, and storage systems. So we could put it into the tank, we could put it into the sugar lane tank,
Right.
we could put it into lines, but it doesn't say we can put it into meters. So my fear is, now at the end of July, like Ben said, these prices go up. My fear is we wait. Not only we're losing a month of great weather for them to install the meters, but we're just wasting time and if we don't get back to them, is the cost gonna go up? I really don't think we're gonna be able to use CARES money for this meter stuff. I don't see them
Well,
changing the rule, unfortunately.
We can try, but
Yeah.
we have to move on our project.
Right.
Regardless.
Yeah, I think, right now, waiting is, time the guys could be working. We're gonna save a lot of, the faster we get to this system, we're gonna save because the guys aren't reading meters anymore.
That's my question.
Yeah.
So there's a savings
Yeah,
associated with getting the
absolutely.
project done.
Yeah, so as soon as, like, mine are up on Westgate, you can see, like, if you look at my water meter, there's two little nodules that
Yes.
are drilled
Nodules.
through.
Yeah.
The guys right now can drive by and, one guy reads the whole village in
Alright.
45 minutes.
All right.
Now it's,
Sure.
now it's all the guys doing it over 2 or 3 days. So we're gonna save that money instantly.
Yeah, so you factor that
Yeah.
in. So,
Right.
Okay.
See, the last week every month, that's when the guys get tied up, and that's when they have to read meters, and go back and reread the meters and everything.
Yeah.
And that's taken me away from getting
Sure.
some of our infrastructure work done.
Yeah.
Ben's, I looked at his board today, I kept telling people he has between 45 and 50 projects. Well, it's down, I don't know, what, in the, maybe high 30s now? He's-
Good, I have things. No, I'm joking.
Before I forget, a little off the subject, but on it, Dawn, I see slowly what's gonna happen with those meter covers. No one's gonna lift them for a long time, and they're gonna get grown over. I think you ought to make a
I think-
note to lift them once a year, twice a year.
Well, it's really kind of up to the property owners.
I
know
know,
we're
but
clear.
what if there's an emergency, gotta shut the water off, can't find it?
Well, they all, we have a GPS locator.
Okay.
We've been doing specific points on each lid.
I
So
already
they
see
have a
that.
very physical point that we can find on a map.
Yeah. Same with gas meters.
Yeah.
They get covered,
Yeah, I see it
buried
happening already.
over years.
One question, Ben, does that give you enough to finish, or does it give you a couple in the garage for spare?
Yeah, that number there factors in about, I think it's 15 heads that will stay with us. That way, if something were to malfunction with one of the heads, I've got something I can change out and just have a supply of them here. So I don't have like a 3-week lead time before I can get something back up and running.
This is the final.
Outside of the meter heads, what other components would be vulnerable to be, altered or, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
Aside from
actually,
the heads
these are a
themselves.
fail-safe for tampering. They can't be tampered with without alerting us. Like that, anytime you drive by, it'll tell you if somebody's tampered with the units, if the flow's been reversed, if there's a possibility of a leak. I mean, these are smart tech systems that are constantly monitoring themselves and what could be happening.
I agree with Mark though. I think there should be some form of maintenance on each meter, whether it's yearly.
Oh, we'll probably definitely, because maybe we'll have problems that we'll have to take the covers off. And I'm sure that some of with the modules on there, they're on there pretty tight and everything, but bumping or,
Yeah.
you don't know.
Right.
We haven't run into that yet.
Yeah. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I'd say just at least checking in on them would be wise.
Mark, be careful when you run over.
Well,
with your
I'm
lawnmower.
already seeing that, I trim mine all real well.
Yeah, well, see, I think a lot of
But
people.
I've also been in a case where I cut a water line in my own house one time, cut the wrong pipe and had to call Ronnie, and I could actually went out and shut it off myself, but if Ronnie didn't know where it was and I wasn't there, it's gonna take an extra.
Yeah.
I mean, he could probably find it pretty quick, but they are gonna get mudded over and grassed over, and you're never gonna find them in 2 years.
I'm surprised Ronnie didn't know where it was. He knows, he's
No,
our
he did,
historian.
he knew
Yeah.
where mine was, but if it wasn't there,
Yeah,
if it was grass, you can't tell where it's
yeah,
at.
it's camouflage.
Yeah, I didn't know he could GPS it.
Yeah, they'll have little pings when you drive by, it'll ping.
Okay, let's get back to National Road here. We're roughly to like 49, close to $50,000 of the 3 invoices that we have here.
I'd like to make a motion to expend the last $49,058.33 on the radio read system.
Is that what they totaled up to, Tim?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't take time, okay, I knew it was around 50.
I second the motion.
Okay. Is there any, now the motion's made, any question on the motion? If there be no question on the motion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried, thank you. Now, we had a couple other things that I wanted, Bobby, you were talking about.
Yeah, it's on Maple Lane. Of course, that's not my area, and he would know, Randy would know better.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm getting reported in the morning when the guys go in to the Raybar property, they're going a little fast, would be the construction workers. And then periodically through the day, they're bringing in big equipment. My question would be, is the road bonded for, I mean, I don't even know what kind of equipment's going in there, I'm just getting.
Well, what's been in there, I can tell you, there was a big track hoe, Ruckman Construction out of Moundsville. They were trenching out for the water line as well as the gas line. Now, when you go in there, the gas line's down there and the water line's in the same trench. That's compatible. You don't put electric in there, of course, so that's the only thing, but they're all aware of that. So that's the biggest, it was a big track hoe, I don't know what the rating was, but
With the
that's the
building of the
biggest
new
thing.
homes, you're gonna get concrete trucks, you're gonna get block trucks, you're gonna get
Yeah.
lumber trucks.
Yeah.
Same thing happened at Wolf Estates, Don. You remember me calling you every morning. This guys were speeding. The trucks were huge. You know.
Yeah, well, in other words, are they speeding like they are on Ridgecrest?
Well,
I hope not. We have some speed bumps on there.
Probably worse
Right.
if you calculate the 50%, 100% over rate. You know, they were going 35, 30, and a 15. If they're going 50 out there, that's the same.
Yeah. What, Randy, you live right down there.
Yeah.
What have you seen?
We do have speed bumps that help control the speed. We are experiencing big heavy trucks taking back concrete, the forms to pour the concrete. You know, we're looking at huge Peterbilt trucks. I witnessed them going back there. So they're definitely going to affect the weight limits. I'm sure they're over the weight
Well, maybe
limits.
we ought to get a hold of and start having the trucking companies bonded. We've had road bonds
Wait.
up here before.
So they're building houses
homes.
already?
Graham,
I was just.
Yeah,
Was there a plat plan that was
It's
approved
not-
by the village?
it's on
No.
our property.
Th-
I
It's in
don't
Marshall
think so.
County.
There's 2 lots that are in Ohio County and 2 in Marshall County.
So,
And
I mean, these builders have to be bonded for our street. I mean, they shouldn't even have started without being bonded.
Well, that's something we gotta look into.
Oh, it's a moot point now because the damage could already be done.
It could be, but then from here henceforth, then, we'll
There'll be more heavy trucks coming,
There'll
guaranteed.
definitely
Yeah.
be more.
There's 3 homes going in. One's already under construction.
So if
Are
one
there-
collapses, if a truck collapses, I'm sorry to interrupt
No,
you,
you
but
got
if a truck collapses the road tomorrow, the village is responsible for that.
So they get bonded.
So, yeah.
Is there this weight limit, speed limit sign? I heard they're getting worn off.
I've never heard of that.
Problem
You know,
with
boss,
this is-
honest to God, I've lived there for 30 years.
You
now.
see, well, you don't pay attention.
I don't pay attention.
Right, I understand that too.
That's what I thought those weight limits
So the
things
heavy
we
trucks are
went
going
through
over, the
before.
overweight limits are going over the
But it
road.
was only if you were
Right now.
not supposed to be on the
If
road,
a truck tomorrow
which
collapses the
means
road,
you're not bonded.
the village
Yeah,
is
which you're
responsible
not
for it because
Okay.
the company's
So
not
they're not bonded.
Who's the contractor? That's the
And
first place
don't
to
know.
start.
They're in violation
3
then
different ones.
of our weight limit.
Okay,
And it's usually in the morning, and the guys are leaving normal business hours, 9
Yeah.
to 5, 8 to 4, 7 to 3.
Yeah.
It's not at night, I don't believe it's, no
No.
night, it's all
Well,
during the
it's
day,
normal
mid-afternoon.
business
Yeah,
hours.
between 7 and 9 starting and 3 and 5 quitting. But yeah, there's some big heavy trucks. I know John Ruckman now, you know, become friends with them. Very upstanding guy. But we still need to get these companies bonded because the roads are gonna get destroyed.
They absolutely will.
Here's my question, are there building permits, have there been building permits issued? Or
I don't think they're in the village of Bethlehem, they're going to Braybar into Marshall County, so.
Well, they're saying 2 homes are in Ohio County though.
Two,
Have they started construction on the
The
2
new
homes in Marshall,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Ohio?
There's existing ones there, but I didn't think.
Yeah,
One
the new-
existing.
well, there's a
Yeah.
big Raybar mansion up on top there.
That's
and then
in
there's-
Marshall County.
Then there's a,
That's in Marshall County.
yeah, and then there's also an older building there, that's gotta be Marshall County.
That's a rental house that used to be the old farmhouse. And it's in
The
Ohio
one-
County.
The one out in Raybars, that was the Wenzel's?
Yeah, it used to be White's actually, but,
White's, yeah.
so I was told by one of the homeowners, landowners, don't know how true it is, that Mrs. Rabar, Marilyn Rabar, who owned all the property, talked to somebody and got all the land to be associated in Marshall County. Now, I don't know if you can even do that, but I was told by one of the landowners that all the property would be, all the taxes will be paid to Marshall County.
Because they're low.
When these land, well,
Yeah.
they were, they're getting up there, but you're right. And, I don't know, can that be done? I don't even know if this guy knows what he's talking
It
about.
would be
That's what-
annexing the property,
Yeah,
there's.
Well,
You're just saying
It would
what
have to
you,
be in Marshall County. I mean, you could.
yeah, but Tom
Physically,
McCarthy
it's
would have to
not.
get involved in this too, if you're taking something out of High County,
Seems to me I
Bethlehem,
heard
and
something.
moving it to
I
Mar-
I heard
I
something,
don't know how you could do
but
that.
from a look.
Everyone who owns property out there is partially in Marshall County.
Right.
That is why they don't have a sewer line of ours running out to them right now, because they have the option of putting a septic in, because part of their property is literally in Marshall County. So I would say that probably plays a factor in whether or not you pay taxes to whom. You might
I
literally
think
have a
there's a
choice.
rule, a percent, what percentage of your properties on what county they will flop, but I don't know for sure. I have a friend that has a half-half farm, and he
Yeah.
says he pays the one. I thought he told me he paid the one county.
I think all you gotta do is petition the commission to be taken
That's
out of
really,
that.
that doesn't matter if it's still in the village of Bethlehem.
It's, yeah, 'cause
Property taxes aren't an issue.
That's the same
No,
as
but
Baker's.
it's a
It's the
road.
road, it's
We're
the,
talking about, number one, is it a development in the village? No, because there's
No,
only two
It's
homes.
private.
It's not
Number
involved.
two, the main thing is they're using our road to access it,
Correct.
Well,
so we can govern that. But what was the question originally?
if we were bonded.
If bonded.
if the company's
Bonded
bond,
Obviously,
roads.
nobody's coming in the office.
We can
that-
certainly
right.
bond.
So I would say that they're not, I should say.
No,
What we should
they-
do is
They're not.
get a hold of the 3 contractors that's building the houses, get a hold of who their vendors are, so we can get who's doing, the heaviest hauling. And in the past, which the guy's on vacation this week, Jack Tush would go up and videotape the roads in the past. Then everyone's in agreement, and to figure out how much bond needs to be set, according to Jack Tush.
Right.
But the thing is, it falls back a question to Bobby. If you feel that a truck's overweight, how are you gonna prove it? Can you bring the scales up to do that?
We can assist. I can assist the village of Bethlehem, but I cannot write the ticket.
so the
We'd
police would have to
do the
call
Okay,
for
right.
him to assist.
Okay, so Bill or Russ or
Right,
whoever.
it's,
that-
yeah, it's not my traffic stop, but the state can assist municipalities that don't have scales, yes.
Okay, that would be fair enough to do that, and if you would need to show up or whoever, and have a police officer there at the time, or whoever questions this, I think that'd be the good start.
So, but then the question is, what happens tomorrow if if the concrete truck's going down the road tomorrow and a section of it collapses?
Well-
Because we're waiting on TC,
Okay.
who's on the hook?
But
We-
how
we-
many concrete trucks do go over the village roads, not sticking up for anybody? I think they haul 8 yards at a time?
They
Up
can
to
go up to
8?
10.
Up to
10-yard
10?
trucks, yeah.
Okay. Someone's putting a complete driveway into another lane or something else or building on, you know what I mean?
That's right.
It's,
That's why when we did those weight limit things, I was so confused as to, it only pertained to someone that shouldn't be there. And, and that means you took a wrong turn. I mean, that's kinda crazy. We wanna weight limit everybody. And if you are gonna be over, you get an overweight permit. I thought that was the way it was in the past, wasn't it?
well, we
Tom?
went through that with them.
Years and years ago.
The last road bond I remember is on,
Not a road
Willow-
bond, an
Willow
overweight,
Lane?
an overweight permit.
Yes.
Not a
it's
road
on your,
bond.
on your lane.
Willow,
Willow, yeah.
but
Willow
not a
Lane.
road bond.
We've done it for
Well, this
logging too on different lanes. There was
Yeah.
loggers would go at the end of a lane that would be property.
We
and it
did
was the same-
Orchard, I videoed it with Jack.
Okay, there you go.
We did Willow,
We did
when
Willow.
they fixed the slip.
It was on Willow, it was Les was running those trucks in and everything, and we videoed it and everything, and he did pay for damage.
Yeah. And Orchard we did when the Waco Tower was being worked on, I believe.
Right.
'Cause I know I videoed it.
Well, we gotta get on it, we gotta call
The
them.
other, two things, one is, what if there is an overweight truck on one of our lanes going to a house? Is it overweight or not? Do they pay an overweight, fee? Not a fine, a fee.
According to the current law, if they're doing business in and out, they do not.
So they're still
Basically
heavy.
what you said about.
And they come in, and then this developer's like, wait a minute, he's heavy as me, and I think he busted the road, not me. Kinda crazy, but concrete, truck going to the job a month later, and it breaks, Now that, I don't know.
Yeah, how do you prove
I
which
don't know how it all
truck?
works, but the
Well,
bonding
we're
should
gonna
be
need
done.
to get into it, and find out the best way to.
Well, the officer can at least stop a truck or two and get some information.
Just call the owners, tell them they need to bond their, tell their own, let them do their work.
Yeah,
Your,
it's up to
your,
the contractor
any of
to
your
bond.
contractors need to
Yeah.
come in here and get a road bond.
Contractors start there.
And it's my understanding,
back,
and
he
maybe
was
you
just
know, maybe you
announcing
don't
it.
know, that the owner of the new property out at Ray Bar is Bromley, Dr. Bromley.
That's one of them, Bob.
He's one of them.
He owns it at the very end, he's not building, he's
Oh.
just hunting.
Oh,
And
he
you
just
come-
bought that for hunting?
Yes, correct.
I
You
just
come-
thought he had it all.
No, there's four owners on the right-hand side. So Jason Turner and his wife, and then Julie and Ryan Bain, and then the house that's been there, Dr. Barr's house. And then the lot after that is Dr. John Woolen. Those are the three property owners, well, four.
Ford County,
Yeah.
Bromley.
3 new homes are going in.
3 new homes, 1 new one will be Marshall County, 2 will be Hyde County.
But if you look at the line, and the line goes on a jaggedy crisscross across the property,
Oh,
and that's the problem. Dr. Barr's current house is in Marshall County, can almost guarantee you that. The Jason Turner house will probably be in Ohio County, but he's the one that told me he's gonna pay Marshall County taxes because of what Mrs. Rebar did, which I'm not sure exactly what that was. Then the next house will be in Marshall County, cause that line kinda goes on an angle
I
and
see.
cuts up through there.
so we potentially only have 1 in Hyde County,
Yeah, correct,
but they're all using our roads, so.
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Did they have to file, the building, not permit, but the actual, blueprints? Did they have to file
No,
blueprints?
Not if they're not building our area.
Alright, so they're not required because they're in, alright,
Well, not only that, we don't really ask for a blueprint for a home.
I
I
had
don't know what you're doing now, but yeah, we used to do.
okay, well, that was 30 years ago, so yeah, it's not required.
We just
Yeah.
require drawing for setbacks.
Can they access Meadow Lane and back? Or is it-
No, well, they really can't,
They'd have to cut a road.
they'd have to cut a road.
Yeah.
The only road access is Maple Lane. Yeah. So,
Alright, that's all I had.
That last house on Behaven, Baker, they're in actual Marshall County too.
they probably are,
Mhm.
because the line.
We have several water customers.
The
in
way that line
All of
runs.
Meadow.
You're right.
Yeah,
All of
we have
Meadows are
several.
water customers.
Not houses, but just water
A few on
customers.
Whites too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have what, customers on White's Lane?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll start somewhere. I'll be talking to our engineer tomorrow too, so. And as far as getting a road bond, I'll dig out the file that I have for years back when we did Willow. And I think it was an instrument prepared by our solicitor, so.
We did Willow once again when Savage came and fixed the slip for the hospital.
Uh-huh,
We did it again then, so there might be some earlier.
okay.
Paperwork.
So Savage, I was sort of.
Yeah,
okay.
Savage was the one that
Okay.
did that second slip repair.
Do you want me to say anything to the contractors or Ruckman in the meantime, or no?
Well, you might say something where we're looking into it. We're very concerned about our roads getting beat up and everything. You know, even though there's several speed bumps to get back here, you know,
Yeah.
some of those bigger rigs, they don't have to worry about those things. They just fly right over.
Okay.
I got a question, it's not on Maple Lane, but when we did that, they were using the water tank property to do them bridges and stuff. Wasn't there something where they had to repair that road going up to the water tank?
They told us no.
Huh?
They told us no, they never agreed to anything like that.
Oh, we better look at that
I thought
paperwork.
they said they would make it as,
Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah, it
supposed to be
was.
in the condition, it was supposed to be at least the condition
Right.
they found it.
right,
In addition to the fence and the gate. They were to build a fence around the water tower and install a gate.
yeah.
I know they did the fence and the gate.
Yeah.
Is that other road still there next to Pearl's house?
Mhm.
So.
Well, that was always an access road for us. It was never like a really
to
nice
me, it was
road.
Never really nothing.
Yeah, it was never really
So
a
it's
nice,
gonna
it was
stay
an
like it is?
overgrown patch for us, but the bottom from Spruce Street, that was always in decent shape. I've been up it, what's it like now?
The guy said, well, I mean, it's
It's not that good
It's
compared to what
kind
it
of
was.
gravelly now, it's not.
it's a little. I bet it's always been beat up as long as I've been here. But,
Right.
I mean, it's
So are they gonna say
Definitely not
it was beat up when
in
we
any
got it?
better condition than when they got.
Yeah.
but they said that the best that they would be willing to do was throw loose material on top of it, which would just get slung around anyway.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the end of that discussion. It was a non-starter.
Okay, is there any more discussion on Maple Lane? If there is there any other new business you wanted to talk about tonight?
I have a question about the bids on the road paving. Is that, can that be under new business or?
Well, yeah, what's your question?
Well, the one bid's almost $30,000 cheaper. Are any of you guys familiar with these companies we're looking at? This Cast and Baker, I'm not familiar with them
Yeah,
at
they're
all.
local.
They're Wilson.
Yeah,
Okay.
Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson?
Caston Baker bought Wilson.
No, all
And
right.
they sent 2 bids. The funny thing is they work kind of separate. It's just a,
So a buddy of mine works at Wilson Blacktop, and he said the guys that do Cast and Baker don't get along with the guys that do, so they're kind of competing against each other. Like one wants to be lower, and so they get, they're not
great.
friendly to each other. It's good for us, but yeah, Cast and Baker owns Wilson,
Okay.
and
I didn't know.
we've used Cast and Baker before.
Yeah.
I think the last 2 roads we did Wilson,
Wilson,
right?
they did Orchard.
Yeah, and they
Cast.
did
It's the first lane.
Wood.
Don't even get me
Along
started.
my street. Gosh, the name
They
just-
also did all the trucks are still
Oh,
up at the
on
top.
What you did,
Northcrest.
Northcrest, that's it.
Oh, okay.
Cast and Baker did all
They
that
did
leveling
Wilson
now.
too.
Okay.
They did, if they didn't do them all, they
Sent
did
all the ropes in
majority.
there, Mark.
They
all the
both do
road
good work.
They were learning.
Yeah,
It was
that's
new
my
equipment,
point.
but
Yeah.
they were
They do
learning.
good
Yeah, they're both local,
Yes,
they
there's-
do good work, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, there was I can't remember the name of the other outfit, but there was 2 brothers and they split.
Lash or,
Yeah, Lash.
Yeah, I
They
remember
were
that.
good. They were good.
These guys are, a lot of these guys are working together on things,
Yeah.
and, because, I don't know, I've learned different things. Now, the outfit that didn't bid at Semper Paving, last year, they were like number 2. And they are doing, I think, sub work for like Cass and Baker and stuff, so these guys are all working together.
They came up there one
Yeah,
time.
they did with the patching. Remember they had that patching project plan
Super
thing?
fire.
You got a
Yeah.
patching machine.
I'm trying to think of his name.
Yeah.
His dad was a police,
Robbie Jewell.
Robbie Jewell, that's
Rusty's
it.
uncle.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
cousin.
that's Rusty's brother. He's got 2 brothers that are,
Yeah.
make up that Semper, but, you don't know what's going on, but, I
Okay.
think Kelly, they just,
They're super busy. Let's throw out a big number. If
Sure.
they bite, then
Yeah.
we'll do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
In other words, I think they're busy.
Right.
But the other ones you can see are pretty relative, like the Klug brothers and Wilson, so. But, no, that's the reason why I've got it down to the engineer to make sure that he's comparing numbers with the spec.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's unusual. It could be $30-some thousand cheaper for the same job. Unless you're
Normally,
cutting
they're not that
corners.
big of a
Exactly.
I'll be talking to our engineer about these and I'll see if there's anything, but usually he doesn't find anything wrong with they've complied with everything. Sometimes he has questions, just not to bring up anything else, but there was an outfit when we were bidding on Green Tree water line replacement project. There was somebody out of Clarksburg that was lower, but they didn't have any experience, and they would not answer the questions of our engineer. And they just, so that's the reason we couldn't consider them.
Always go
We
low.
didn't,
Yeah.
they work with the drillers and things, yeah, they put in steel pipe and everything, but to put in a water line, we'd probably still be working on that line if we went with them, so, anyway.
All right, I was just curious
Yeah.
because it said Cannonsburg.
It's kinda strange, but it's also, it seems like these guys take turn getting, it's not the same guy every year.
That gets the bid.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, any other new business to come before council?
Don, I have one thing. I should have brought it under my committee report, so I apologize. Today, Aaron informed me that we have heard back from the Federal Army Corps of Engineer about whether or not that standing or that water flowing is federal jurisdiction. They have ruled it is not.
Woohoo.
We have to wait, before we can do anything, we have to wait on a letter from the Army Corps of Engineers stating that, no, this is not federal jurisdiction. You guys can go ahead with the project. So it won't be this year project, but we're hoping next year. So we're gonna get a lot of more planning done and get that water line, or relocate that water line and drainage pipe, and then get that, walking trail put up.
I think,
So that was some really good news from them. That's what we were hoping for. A lot less hoops to jump
Yeah.
through. but we did hear back and it was in our favor.
Yeah, wasn't Jack Tush working on that for Aaron?
Uh,
I'm talking about maybe a different project, but
no, I'm not sure.
he
As
was,
far as I
he
know,
was she had him look into the water there, where it was coming from and such.
well, as far as I know, the answer came from the Army Corps of Engineer. Whether Jack was working with them or not, I'm not sure. But either way, it doesn't matter how we got the answer. That's the
It's
answer
good news for us, yeah.
So
Yeah, because
that'll be a project moving forward.
I haven't heard anything from Aaron, Aaron Roth about that lately. She hasn't mentioned. She's been busy with other things, I
Well,
think.
yeah, that's what my report is for.
Especially fly.
I have one item on Maple Lane. The house across the road from me, the Pinter house.
Yeah.
You've gotten complaint about that, right?
That's something we gotta look into. That's on my repair or replace list.
Alright.
In fact, I've got about three properties, but you gotta watch what you're doing. The city of Moundsville and the city of Wheeling, they can get reimbursed for tearing down houses and everything, but we can't. You have to be that, I forget what the classification is, but
Okay.
that's why they're demolishing all these properties now.
The home
Wheeling
rule?
And Moundsville.
Isn't that
But-
home rule law?
I forget
They live in that-
what the name of it is that they get reimbursement, but you gotta qualify. But now, if we'd tear somebody's house down, we'd have to stand the cost of that. What's our chance of getting reimbursed? 20, 40, 50 years, if that? So,
Is the council up to speed on that property that
Is
we're
what?
referring to?
No.
That
No.
Pinter, okay, I'll fill you in real quick. So Pinters lived across the road from me in this house. Scott is the son who's still alive, and there's an Aaron, which is his sister, lives in Morgantown. There's supposedly an $80,000 or $90,000 lien on the house,
Oh, my.
and that's kind of the problem.
yeah, nobody wants it. You'd have to pay the lien off to buy the house.
So there's a holding company. I don't know if it's a bank. It's some kind of loaning institution. I don't think it's a bank. They own the lien. CGN, CNG, something. I saw it on the Ohio County Assessor's Office. If you look at who's paying the taxes, this company is. So I called that company, and she said, "Well, I can't give you any information. You're not the homeowner, or you're not related." I said, "No, I'm not." So there's a realtor number on the door. So I called the realtor. She said, "We're going to try to sell this house." This was last year, by the way, and it still has not been, sold. And I said, "Well, how are we going to know it's going to be for sale?" She said, "We'll put signs up." So to date, we have never seen a sign that says house is for sale. And so that's really all I know. None of that I know for 100% sure. So Scott lives in Virginia Beach. Aaron lives in Morgantown. I haven't seen either one of them for 2 years now. So my guess is they're washing their hands of it. They don't have the $80,000 or $90,000, and they're not paying the taxes, so that tells you they're not interested. So that's where we're at. I got a complaint from 2 residents that just said, "What are we going to do about this eyesore?" So that's it.
Does anybody keep up with the grass or anything?
Yes, there's a property management
Okay.
team that comes once a week. They cut the grass. They take
They pick up
pictures.
once a week, because
Yeah.
I've been going, but I also did an inspection. Of course, you live across the street. Around the back of the house, there's things and if you look in the windows and everything, it looks like some of the walls, I don't know if it's an optical illusion.
It is, because I've been in the house when the property management company came. They let me come in, just BS with him, and it's not falling down. It's not rat infested. There's no animals living in there. It's all boarded up. It's all locked up. Property management is taking care of the place. The only thing I could complain about would be the porch is starting to pull away from the house, so it could be considered a danger. But other than that, it's okay.
I know last year when I called this property management people, they had trees growing up through the
They
front.
cut all that
And
out.
they cut those out.
Yeah.
And I said, well, anyway, then I saw when we were over there working on the water line, they were there a couple times cutting grass, so.
Correct. Yeah. They do a good job. I mean, they do take care of it. So.
Yeah, but it's an eyesore, you live across the street and probably have to look at it every day unless you have horse blinders when you pull out of your garage or something.
Doesn't bother me one
It's
way
one
or
of these
the
things that needs to be addressed, and I wish we could, foreclose on it and tear it down.
Well, at this point, I
Yeah.
think it's in litigation, and that's what I think.
Yeah, now,
It's
I
being held
understand
up.
that there was a big lien on there, and that's why they couldn't sell the property.
Yeah.
Because you have to pay that lien off.
Exactly.
I didn't know what you mentioned, 80 or 90, I didn't know it was that high, but,
That's what I was told.
yeah.
I have
well,
no
You're
proof of that.
probably pretty much on the money, so.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, any other new business coming before council? Okay, we'll move over to any citizen wishing to be heard. Do you have anything you want to say, Chuck?
No, I
Oh.
just.
Okay. Well, I
You know,
thought
It's good to
everybody
see
in these
people back.
Meetings for years. So I
Yeah, it's
figured
good
I'd
to see
show
people
up.
Okay, well, I just wondered if you had anything to say. Okay, thanks. If there be no other business to come before council, I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion's been made and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No question on the motion.